I am the community manager here at Prime Roots, and today we're going to do a little different segment from what I normally do, which is usually being in the kitchen, doing a little cooking demo with some of Prime Roots products. And today I'm just going to show you simply what I eat in a day. This week has been super busy for us, so I have meal prepped everything in advance, and it is such a lifesaver because I don't have time to cook like hours and hours every day unless I'm like shooting a recipe for a cooking demo or something. And so meal prepping breakfast, lunch, and or dinner is in large batches for the week is just so helpful, and it's really efficient, and I have an Instant Pot, so it makes the whole process super easy. So for breakfast, I like to do things like obviously something simple like oatmeal with peanut butter and blueberries or something simple like that. I also do overnight oats. I'm sure a lot of people are aware of that by now. I've been switching things up by using quinoa as well. I'm actually going to be experimenting with millet and other kinds of whole grains that aren't typically used in place of overnight oats. So right now I have like a little, you can kind of see it, but it's like a little, I wish it looked prettier, but it's so good. So it's a black quinoa porridge. I basically submerged it in some cashew milk that I made at home, which is just soaked raw cashews with water. I blended that up, added some maple syrup, a little bit of sea salt, and then I soaked the cashew milk along with the cooked black quinoa that I had used in an Instant Pot, and then I added some peanut butter. I like crunchy. I'm definitely team crunchy peanut butter. And you can get creative. You can either add some chopped fruit, or I like, lately I've been doing apples and oranges simply because that's what's in season. And that also helps to keep your costs down if you eat in season rather than something fancy like dragon fruit or pitaya or whatever it's called now. So yeah, that's one way that you can go about doing breakfast. And I just love overnight quinoa porridge. That's like my go-to now. And yeah, you can even add a little bit of maple syrup on top. So yeah, feel free to get creative with the topping. So that's kind of my main thing. Another thing that I've been doing is buckwheat. So I've been doing a lot more buckwheat crepes and buckwheat pancakes. So it's basically just buckwheat flour with baking powder and some homemade plant milk. I've actually found that when I use homemade plant milk, when I try to heat it up, it starts to curdle. So I think a lot of store-bought, I think a lot more store-bought plant milks tend to use some sort of, I don't know if it's a preservative or, some type of ingredient so that it doesn't curdle up. So I actually would recommend that more. But if you keep it on a low temperature, you can do things like crepes and pancakes. And I've been doing that. I've also been using oat flour to do that as well. And I also like to use oat flour for mug cakes and stuff. So if you look at a previous recipe that I did, it's a salted caramel bacon mug cake with Prime Roots plant-based bacon. That's a really great way to have a nice little sweet breakfast. And so for lunch or dinner, I made a red lentil soup. Again, not the prettiest looking food. I added some fresh herbs like dill on top. I pretty much just used an Instant Pot and then sauteed and browned some sliced onions, garlic. I used a bunch of random spices that I had left over in my pantry. Then I added carrots and celery. And then what else did I do? And then I added tomato sauce as well. And then finally I added red lentils and a bunch of homemade veggie broth that I made at home, which I usually do with just taking some scraps from onion peels and carrot tops, etc. Then I put it in a big Ziploc bag, and then stash it in the freezer. And so from there, then once I get to around 1 quart, then I make a whole batch of veggie broth. So then, yeah, I basically just use the Instant Pot, set it and forget it. And then, I think like 30 or 20 to 30 minutes later, it was ready. And so, yeah, and then I just had a whole batch for the rest of the day. So yeah, I've been doing on a regular basis. I'll have soup, bean-based soups or bowls with like a variety of stuff. I call them like macrobiotic bowls. So I'll do like greens and whole grains and legumes. We can also use other plant-based proteins like Prime Roots bacon as well. You can also add some cruciferous vegetables, so hard, tough vegetables like broccoli and carrots. And, or, I like to do sauteed, not sauteed, but steamed beets, and then I'll marinate it in some sort of vinaigrette. I'll have salads throughout the week. So yeah, it's a mixture of, let's say, overnight oats, porridges. So yeah, breakfast porridges. I guess I'm trying to think of the categories. So breakfast porridges, grain-based bowls, salads, soups. I can't forget matcha lattes. That's like my go-to. I've been trying to cut down on my food expenses, but matcha is the area that I'm not willing to cut back on. I'm definitely a tea hoarder. I'm usually, I try to be a minimalist, like in terms of like stylistically, but in terms of tea, I'm very much a hoarder. Like when I was doing my what's in my pantry segment, I should have showed you my ridiculous pantry that was just stacked with teas upon teas upon teas. And my roommate's also a tea hoarder, so like we're just, if you look at our pantry, it looks like we have a lifetime supply of tea, but we end up going through it pretty quickly. So I guess that also counts for what I drink in a day. So yeah, lots of matcha. I don't really do coffee. It just makes me really jittery and anxious, and I prefer to get my energy just more from subtle sources. Like I find tea to be just much more subtle and not as like arousing. And then I also, just getting enough sleep and turning my phone off before 10. And that's been a huge help for sure. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I eat in a day. And if you have any questions, please let me know. We are always experimenting with these demos, so do let us know what you like more in the comment section. So, are you looking for more cooking demos? And if so, what kind of cooking demos would you like us to do? Would you like us to do more remixed recipes, like with the grilled cheese ravioli sandwich I did? So kind of like a twist on a classic. Or are you looking for just plant-based classics of your favorite foods? Just more comfort food, or, more food that, something a dietitian might recommend to you. Like, just do let us know, like, what you want. Do you want more behind the scenes? I'm sure you guys would like to see more of that, what we're going on behind the scenes this year. So, yeah, I mean, we're open to doing more behind the scenes talks and chats with Kim, our co-founder, and we're also, welcome to do more team features. And so yeah, just let us know like what you're curious to know about what we're doing at Prime Roots and what we can do to support you in your plant-based journey. So it's a pretty short, sweet segment today. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And again, please feel free to reach out to us anytime. Like shoot me a message. Like I'm on Instagram for y'all, Facebook, YouTube. Just comment and we will respond. So all right, thank you so much and take care. Happy Monday, everyone.